renounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. Let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want to ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
Welcome to Lions Nation Unite live here to talk our beloved Detroit Lions. 2 weeks basically before training camp, a little bit less for training camp here. And I'm with the man, the legend over there across the pond, the Ant-Man. How's it going on, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mike. I'm just trying to keep my composure during these intros when you're there singing my name in the background. And, you know, I've been watching Undertaker's podcast recently where he's on about how people are trying to get him to crack out of character all the time. And you eventually are one day going to get me to just burst out laughing on here. So, you know, it's only a matter of time.
You are literally like the Undertaker where everybody tries to make you laugh and you're staying so solidly straight. It's a tough. It will happen one of these days. Everybody, thank you for coming into the show today. James, Janella, Brent DeWitt. Obviously, we got 9 drinks. We got James. We got Miles Marker. We got Keito, Lisa Del Lorenzo, the GOAT right there. Kurt Kasperick. Thank you all. And if you start slowly coming in, appreciate it. Before we get to the main topics, we don't do politics on here. I don't do it on my channel. I don't do politics generally on any channel, and I'm going to keep 100. I'm not a political guy. I don't watch a whole lot of that stuff, but, you know, we got to have discourse where we're not hurting each other here, and, you know, we can't have deleting happening to a candidate or even a president or anyone. If this was the UK, prime minister, king, or any other country, I'm going to say the same thing, man. We got to be able to talk. That's why I love you guys here in Lions Nation Unite and my personal channel. You guys, they don't take anything personal. It is very cordial. Ant-Man is exactly like that as well. So, you know, pray for everybody involved. And thankfully there was no deleting that occurred. And, you know, just, hey, hug your kids a little bit more. Hug them a little bit tighter. You never know when the last day you'll live. And so tell your loved ones you love them and all of that lovely stuff. We're all family. Let's get through this, Ant-Man. What do you think?
Yeah.
You're not even from the U.S. You agree, man? We should just be civil.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't really say much because we tried to blow up our own parliament once upon a time. But yeah, you know, it's
crazy.
Just be friendly to one another, and you know, we're here for a good time. We're here to talk sports. We're here to talk Lions. We're going to a Super Bowl. All going to be good there. But yeah, let's try and keep it friendly.
And I gotta say, like, when I first started on YouTube, Ant-Man, like, it was really rough. People really get on you and they rip you apart really quickly. But I must say, like, after the evolution and just being on here for some time and seeing the subscriber base, the Lions fans, and how cordial they are, even with people ripping on our football team, it's really good to see. And so you guys out there, you're all mature, you're all awesome, and we all appreciate you for sure. And it makes life easier on content creators.
Oh, for sure. I love you all. Like, you're Americans who listen to a Brit talking about football. That's like endorsement enough for me. So I appreciate it.
James Janelle's right. Football brings America together. We love it. Even the UK, apparently. I don't know how relevant the NFL. I'm going to sure it's pretty big, but I don't know if it's as big as the United States. Like, it's literally hamburgers and football. That's the American life. And I love sports. It does bring people together. Bring Lions. Look, we got content creators, everything. King, Word of Lions UK, Ant-Man. We got AG, Spirit of Detroit, Spenmo, Rack, Speakeasy. And these are all different. We all have different views, and yet we get along great. So I appreciate you guys and appreciate all the content creators out there. Calvin Johnson just went into the Ring of Honor for the Detroit Lions. He was emotional. He was tearing up. It is good to see Calvin Johnson being brought lights, you know, everything going good with the Detroit Lions and him. Sheila Ford Hamp, kudos to you for getting this done.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. That's kind of the big theme of this, isn't it? Like you said, it's good to have Calvin back, and it's good to see everybody finally pulling together in the right direction. Just like for years, it's been all quite poignant. It's what you said earlier, to be fair. Disunity and arguments, and it's just been the same repetitive cycle of failure. And all we get told about is how these guys, we screwed them over and they don't like us or anything like that. But now we're in this new era. We've got a new owner, bringing players back in from the fold who've not been in there, who are now back in the team again. And everybody, players, owners, fans, coaches, are pulling in the same direction now. So it's going to be nice to see Calvin go in there. He should. Absolutely one of the best players we've ever had. Long overdue, maybe. I mean, normally you go into the Ring of Honor at your team before you go into the Super Bowl, before you go into the Hall of Fame, the NFL. But yeah, it's well earned, and it's just building bridges, moving forward. Everyone's in lockstep, and we're going for that Super Bowl now.
I'll never forget, man. First off, Calvin Johnson, this was years ago. It's probably the first year I was on YouTube. A lot of people was giving him a lot of garbage because he didn't talk to the Detroit Lions in the situation. I said, man, I know this ain't Calvin. Calvin's one of the nicest guys in the world. If you ever spoke to him, he shout out my own family and kids, man. He shout them out. This dude's a good guy. So to see him in the Detroit Lions, just lockstep, so thankful for the organization, Sheila Ford Hamp, Brad Holmes, everybody who made it done over there. Calvin is a Lion for life. He is one of the greatest Detroit Lions ever. And I love to see him in the Lions together. Question, though. I got an interesting question. It just popped in my head while I was talking here. What current Detroit Lion do you think eventually will be a Hall of Famer, in the Lions Ring of Honor, and all of that stuff? One player, who do you think in the comment section, and Ant-Man, who do you think would be like one of those guys, and another Hall of Famer type player?
Penei Sewell.
Damn, you picked my guy.
He's going it. Like, I know we did our stream yesterday of very controversial, the top 50 lines of all time. I already had him at like 12 or 13. Like, I do genuinely think because don't forget, he is just technically a fourth-year guy now. He's only going into his fourth year, and he's already the best at his position. And offensive line, specifically tackle, is one of the hardest jobs in the NFL. And for him to already be there, to already be the highest paid guy in his profession before technically his rookie deal, before he's even gone out of his first rookie contract, is insane. And the problems we've had well documented here over the years with O-line problems, and that he's just something else. He is a different level. He is unbelievable, and he is going into the Hall of Fame. The only thing that is stopping him now is injury. Give him another 4 or 5 years, he's going to be there. He's going to be talked about in circles of like Trent Williams is now, and he's going to go in as one of the greatest ever. So Sewell's going in 100%, no doubt, unless he gets hurt.
Keith, 100% agree. And it's not that it's just because Herman Moore is my boss. First off, my dad was just a huge fan of Herman Moore. He was the Calvin Johnson before Calvin Johnson. Now I was watching this when I was a little kid, but I do remember what he was doing on the field. He's one of the greatest, and yeah, he'll definitely be in the Hall of Fame. It's just a matter of time for him. He for sure will. He was the mega before the mega. He was a really good player. And he's a great person on the field and off the field. He was a really good dude. Current player for me for a Detroit Lion. You took Penei Sewell, and damn it, that's who I was going to take. I really do think so. I see Frank Ragnow in there. I think I see Amon-Ra St. Brown in there for sure. Some good players. Oh, man, I'm with you. Penei Sewell for sure. Of all the players, like this is the guy from day one was a stud, and I think he's going to end up being one of the best tackles of all time. Like, seriously, I know that sounds crazy, but he's going to be up there. Well, he's going to be like a Lomas Brown type of player where you're just like, man, this dude was good. He doesn't miss time. He has everything. He came in young. He plays every snap. Okay. He's a leader. He is fearless. You're getting Aaron Donald's face. And he's the best tackle in football right now. So I'm going to go with Penei Sewell as well. Couple players you could say Aiden Hutchinson. I see Jack Reeves in there again. We've seen Frank Ragnow. I love Frank. It's just his injury is more the concern. It's how long he sits in the NFL.
See, that's the problem, because
Yeah.
we were going over this the other day. His career, he's not played half the time that Dominic Raiola did for us.
Yeah.
And Dominic Raiola for me was a great player for the Lions. I absolutely love him, and he played 14 years. Frank's played 6. I think that would be the only thing that would stop Frank getting it, unless he can grind out another 3-4 years.
Yeah, if he can grind it out, he will.
I think he's
sure.
up there, but the longevity of the career would be the problem. If you're going to do a hot take one right now, I think that when he's all said and done in a decade's time, Brian Branch will be in there.
Yeah,
I think he's going to become one of the really special ones.
Sam Laporta too.
Maybe with Sam.
If he continues, if he continues for like the next 10 years, what he's doing right now, it has to be right. But we don't know. It's projecting injuries or something that you would never know, right? So
exactly, it's hard to tell from that point, but if everything works out, then they should be.
Matthew Stafford, will he be a Hall of Fame inductee?
Yes.
I think so too. And it will determine if he's going to do it will he retire Detroit Lion? I think he will retire Detroit Lion.
If he wins another one in LA,
maybe he won't. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I agree.
If he wins 2 chips in LA, then no, he'll go in as a Ram.
Yeah.
It depends how long he plays for now. I think if he's there another 2 or 3 years, we might be in bother with it. But he will go in for sure. He's got one. Aaron Rodgers has got 1. And really, Stafford's probably going to break his passing yards, all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like Stafford should, if he has another 3 or 4 years, statistically succeed Aaron Rodgers, and he's got the same number of Super Bowls. So if Aaron's going in, Matt's going in, and he had a much worse team in his career to have to contend with. Aaron Rodgers has been on nothing but contenders all his life. Matthew Stafford has not. So
yeah, he's a champion, and you can't take that away from him. Regardless how you feel, he is a Super Bowl champion, and I put playoff wins and Super Bowls pretty much above anything else. I do. It's very high up there for me. Who else? What was another player? Would it take one Super Bowl win for Goff to get in, or 2?
I mean, technically, if we're talking Lions players, Sue will go.
I'll say 2.
Ooh, Goff.
For Jared Goff to win.
Oh, that would take more. I think that would take multiple ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would have to take more in YB at 2.
But
I think
he's still relatively young, though. He could play for another 6 years yet. So, I think if he won one here,
if he does that, it'd be like an Eli Manning, right? Because he's got 2 Super Bowls. Yeah,
and in Detroit as well. Like,
oh yeah,
you've been to multiple Super Bowls with multiple teams that you got to take that into consideration. But it's the Hall of Fame. We don't want to dilute it into the Hall of Very Good.
There's a difference between the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame, and look, if Jared Goff won a Super Bowl, he's going to be the pride of the Lions.
Like Goff should go in the ring of Goff should go in our Ring of Honor if he wins a Super Bowl.
It would happen. It would have to be. If they give Jared Goff a Ring of Honor if he won us a Super Bowl, that would be the worst decision to ever exist. I want statues raised of these players if they win a Super Bowl. I remember watching the X-Men movie, and it was the Apocalypse, and in Apocalypse, he's got this gigantic pyramid, and he's got statues of the 4 horsemen, and that's what it would be like in Detroit. All these statues. It would be like Medusa's layer of statues of people in there too.
God.
Oh my God, that's 100% factual right there. So we got training camp coming up here in a couple weeks. First off, you guys need to get tickets. If you're wanting to go to training camp, you got to basically put your name in the NFL thing. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of people at training. Our reports of 9,000. That is a lot. I've been to training camp many times. It is never that busy. So again, go. It's probably on the DetroitLions.com website. Fill it out. Also, make sure you're not doing a walkthrough. if you come up to training camp and you're excited, maybe you're in Tennessee or you're in Kentucky or in Oregon or somewhere else, and you're super excited to see the Detroit Lions at training camp, make sure it is not the day that they're just doing a walkthrough, because you'll be very, very disappointed. It is different. So those are the two things right there. Training camp, what is the number one thing you're looking forward to training camp, Ant-Man?
I think for me, it's just always been about seeing the next emerging group of players. The guys on the periphery waiting to see Colby Sorsdals, Broderick Martins, Hendon Hookers, the guys who we've been in a nice position to be able to sit in some of their formative years here and not have to rush on to the team. Hopefully we're going to see the benefits of that going into this year. They've been able to train, they've been able to get the techniques right, they've been able to get the bodies right, and now hopefully we're going to see them start to make waves in the team, and the preseason will be a good place for them to start to do that. And then obviously you're looking at your depth position battles, those last receiver spots, the offensive line spots. There are areas in this team where we need to establish depth going into the year, and this is the time when you can step up and grab those spots. So certainly some of the players, the second year guys especially, and then some of these intriguing battles in areas where we need guys in.
Brett DeWitt, I generally agree with you a lot, but this one actually is a little bit different. I'm going to tell you why I'm not mad if Stafford did retire Detroit Lion. Yes, he did request to get traded, but you got to understand the situation of Stafford. He was there 12 years. He broke his back, literally fractured his back twice, multiple injuries, and he was thinking at the time, there's another rebuild. It's going to take, look, how many rebuilds have we went through, and it's doesn't done anything. So he's thinking, man, look, I don't got that much left in my career. I just want to go out there. I love the city of Detroit, but I want to win a Super Bowl. And so when I look at the situation of his body, injuries that he sustained, and his career short, I get it for that type of situation. I don't think it's like he wanted to leave Detroit. Yeah, he got asked for a trade. He wanted to go. But if you're in that situation, 12 years, you haven't had success, another rebuild. This is like what? How many coaches? 1, 2, 3. This would have been his fourth coach. There was no stability. So I'm not upset. Am I going to cheer him on when he's playing the Lions? Absolutely not. I'm not going to cheer him on at all. I don't want his team to win. But when he's retired, if he decided to be a Lion, I would be fully on board with that. That's just my preference right there. And
we don't have a lot of players. We don't have a lot of the players we do now without that trade either.
Yeah,
like that trade was absolutely not just the ones we got, but we ended up trading those picks around, etc., and we had the flexibility to do so. So it was the right thing to do. I agree. If he'd have spent 3 years now, we're going for a Super Bowl now. He wouldn't have a ring by his age, and
we wouldn't have Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams.
We wouldn't have this team with us. We wouldn't.
Brian Branch.
Maybe in the first year we'd have won one too many games. Like we'd have won one or two close games with Stafford. No Penei Sewell. Little things like this. I think fate happened for a reason with this. Like we did good by him. Everyone talks about the bad juju we get from Barry and Calvin and that. Well, we got good juju from Stafford. We let him go, let him do his thing, and the team has benefited from that. So. Like the whole thing about, I don't really care right now about how he's considered here when he's done. Like, come to that when you get to it. Like for now, he's the enemy. When he's done, all said and done, have the conversation there and see what's up. But certainly, if he wins another chip over there, is there another 2-3 years? I would consider him much less of. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, he's kind of more their guy now. So.
Yeah, and that's cool because I'm happy. I wanted him to be traded because I felt like you needed to start over, and it was the best decision that we ever did. It was the best decision. It was a win for both parties, and so I really don't have hate. I'm really happy with Jared Goff and all this team. I'm really happy about it, and I think Jared Goff embodies Dan Campbell. He is not. You can't walk all over Jared Goff. He will fight you back, man. I'll never forget when Fitzpatrick said, "Oh, he is a poor man's Matt Ryan." This dude is, I really, really like having Jared Goff, and so I prefer Goff over Stafford. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like he fits. I think Stafford's ultimately got the better arm and all that, but I just think Jared Goff fits Detroit perfectly. It's a hand glove situation where greatness, right? I seen a question here. Will the Lions sign anybody before training camp? I'm going to say no. I really don't believe so. But throughout training camp, we'll see, right? We got to see how the battles are taken out. Is there anybody stepping up on the edge or the wide receiver position? That's just something they got to monitor. And I don't think it'd be smart for them to sign somebody right now. Just see what you kind of have, because good teams, we've talked about this, they draft players, develop them, and let them play. And that would suggest Antoine Green, right, is a player whom they kind of think could take a little bit more of a leap, right, into that top 6 wide receiver range. So I don't believe that the Lions should do anything right now. Wait till maybe a week or 2 into training camp. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on record as saying I don't really think they're going to do much now, unless, I mean, obviously, because roster cut downs, when they come, maybe you'll get someone from there. But in terms of trade, was it trade we were on about, or just getting players?
Trade or just acquiring talent, right?
See,
signing a player, trade, same difference.
So again, I think they're gonna be buyers at the deadline, but I think you've got to wait, because the areas that you might want to bring in, like say you want to bring in an edge rusher. Well, right now you've got Davenport, you've got Houston, you've got Pascal. You want to give them all the chance to show that they can be a long-term part of this team. Like, it is more beneficial for you as the Detroit Lions for these guys to get good. So you're going to give them preseason, you're going to give them training camp, you're going to give them games in the season, and you're going to give them opportunities. Because if Houston comes back to form, starts sacking the quarterback every week, you solve a big problem. If Pascal starts realizing his potential, you solve a problem. And you don't need to go to the trade market and start giving up assets and money for guys who you might not have to. So you've got to give these guys opportunities first before you hit I don't say hit the panic button, but right now, there's a reason they bought Davenport here. They think he can work. There's a reason they've kept Houston and Pascal. They think they can work. You've got to give them a chance first. If they don't work, if 5-6 weeks into the season, you're approaching the deadline, no edge rushers stood up opposite Aiden, and you're struggling, and you're about to go into that really gnarly, rough patch of away games, like then you go to the trade market and you're like, right, we've given you a chance, you failed, someone new. But until then, no, I think, they'll give their guys on the roster every chance to succeed first, so we don't have to give away.
Completely agree with you right there. Again, I don't think anybody expected Derek Barnes to take that next step in Efutu Melifonwu last year. So Pascal could take that next step, right? Antoine Green could take a little bit step forward. So I am with you 110%. And thank you, Raw Podcast, TA, Raw Podcast, subscribe to his channel. Good friend of mine, very smart. Absolutely. See what you have first. If it all fails, look, there's players you could pick up, right? There's players you could trade for, just like here, a Judon. There's a Hassan Reddick, who I know he got traded this offseason, but it's not, he could get traded from the Jets because he just was taking place. You got Yannick Ngakoue out there. You got Ogba out there if you want to go edge. There's a couple wide receivers. Michael Thomas, I think Woods will be released at some point for the 53 for the Texans. So there's options. But first, let's go ahead and see what in-house can do. Can Pascal take that next step? I'm not saying I don't know. Can Levi? Hell, I think Levi Rodriguez could take a step forward. This is a pivotal year for him. Year 4 for him. So we just got to let's sit back, go to camp. We'll see what we got going on. If it don't work, okay, we can make a move. I don't think they're going to make a significant trade right now. I think if you're looking for a trade, it would be the trade deadline. There is players they could trade for sure, right? And there's going to be more. We don't know exactly what team's going to really suck this year. We think that the Panthers are going to suck. We think that the Giants is going to be bad, So we just got to wait and see. And if there is a player on their roster that could help the Lions out, then the Lions could make a trade at the trade deadline, and that player probably be good to go by the time the playoff hits. So that's the way that I would absolutely do with it. It's talent through the draft. we hit the draft, we do good. That's why we're good right now, is because of all our draft picks of hitting out. So let's continue to rely on Brad Holmes' ability to find this talent in the guys whom they drafted, is being an impact for the Detroit Lions. James Houston is healthy this year. Can he stay healthy and contribute? I'll let you do this one first, and then I'll go next.
I hope so. Certainly, people really seem to have written him off. I don't know why, because he had the injury last year. It's to his ankle. It's a really critical part of him. It's like a receiver breaking his hand and not being able to catch the way he used to beforehand. It's a serious injury. And he didn't get that much playing time last year. People said he didn't look himself. Well, he played 11 snaps or something like that. He played nothing after he came back. So this is what I mean. You don't panic to go and get an edge rusher just yet. He's going to have the full off season. He's going to get preseason. He's going to get all this. There is every chance. He might be hurt. He might not be 100% to what he was before. But there's just as big a chance that he can be. And, Houston on his day is absolutely devastating. You got him and Hutch on the field. That was what are you going to do? Because you've seen Houston beat double teams. You see him beat a triple team against Buffalo to sack Josh Allen. It's then you're having to take resources away from Aiden, and Aiden's getting more one-on-ones, etc. So you give him every chance. I've seen people see we'll take bets or someone like that in front of him. It's please, I get the feel-good stories, but he plays against bin men in the CFL. James Houston has done it against actual athletes in the NFL, and we know he can do it here. So, him and Pascal and Davenport, you give them all the chance they have, because if they overcome their injuries, they are really good assets for this team, and that's what we want. The more of these guys we can recover and get on this team, the less we have to spend to strengthen it, We can just carry on going as we are, and we don't need to waste, because the deadline, it's good, but sometimes it's also a bit of a rip-off, because teams will take advantage of you. So it sort of works both ways. I think this year it's going to be favourable towards buying teams, because I think there's going to be some big teams fire selling. A lot of teams are in cap trouble. But, you've got to give Houston his chance to succeed. And, I want to see him on the roster. I want to see him give him a fair chance at the roster. Not just, he's not looking good in training. You give him a chance. He's earned his right to be on the field. So, yeah, I hope they do give him a go.
Yeah, and he'll be a look, and I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be an every down guy at all. I think he's situational, but that's okay.
It takes
one play, right, to change the outcome of a game. The NFL is really close, right? One play. We go to the NFC Championship game. I don't know. Say that Josh Reynolds catches the football. Maybe we're in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Vildor doesn't have that weird, funky play, right? If you have James Houston, he's on the field and he gets a critical sack, that could be the difference between winning a game and losing a game. And he has the ability to sack. Now, he's not the best in the world stop at the run, but that's okay. You use what his strength is and getting to a quarterback. He's fast off the line. He makes people break an ankle a little bit, and he gets to the quarterback really fast. So that's really important to have 100%.
It's so funny to me. Situational pass rusher is thrown around like an
everywhere.
Insult. Like game manager. When people call a quarterback a game manager, that's an insult, because all he can do is manage a game. He's not. Situational pass rusher it's put around as an insult. He's only.
People put it around as an insult. I don't believe so.
Give me a guy who can get to the quarterback over, he's top tier at rushing the passer and not great at defending the run, rather than a guy who's a lower tier pass rusher and a lower tier run stuffer, but just because he can defend the run a little bit. It's get your shiny weapon. Take your shiny weapon. You deploy him when you want to. It doesn't matter if it's a situational pass rusher. Screw it. You can afford one of those guys on your roster, and to just let him go elsewhere and to do it for somebody else would be gross negligence. Why? Because he's a situational pass rusher. It's an insult to
be
him.
Called a situational pass rusher.
But that's what people do.
That's what
everything's.
But you need a plethora of pass rushers throughout a game.
Of course you do.
Right? You want to stay these guys fresh throughout a game. You've seen Jahmyr Gibbs. He's not taking every snap, right? You don't want Like, we need to reduce Hutchinson a little bit, I feel like, on snaps for his longevity of the career. We just don't have somebody opposite, or so we don't have anybody to his level, so he's on the field.
Exactly.
You want to have a situation where you can have, okay, take a break, Houston, Pascal's out there. Yeah, he's getting to the quarterback. Okay, you take a break. Davenport's out. Like, that's kind of what you want to see. And then the fourth quarter, these guys aren't dead. Like, you're not getting ran on. You're not getting just walked through because these big bodies are being used too much. That is something you don't want to have. And it's a long season, right? It's
what were we terrible at last year, Mike? Defending third and longs.
Third and long.
Why? Because we couldn't get to the quarterback quickly enough because we don't have a true speed rusher.
Bam.
We don't have a
on the
true
field,
speed rusher.
It stops that third down.
Exactly. That is critical to your team. And we missed that last year with him. So, there's absolutely a place for him on this roster. If he's your edge 4, fine. My edge 4 is an elite pass rusher. That's good for me. He'll play special teams. He'll do his job there. He will do everything that's required of him. So, I've got Pascal and Davenport, my big ends, to really come in and support against the run. Don't need Houston to do that. I need him to go get sacks. If he has one good rep a game and gets a sack a game, that's 17 sacks in a year. You'd take that any day, wouldn't you, Mike? So
yeah. This idea of a game manager situational pass rush is a bad thing. I don't think it is. I think it's how teams develop their roster and how they want to utilize it. Jared Goff's not the greatest scrambler in the world, right? They call him a game manager, and yet we went to the NFC Championship. So give me that game manager all day. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what he is,
if someone's good at something, then exploit how good they are. Yeah, Jared Goff ain't Lamar Jackson, but we don't need him to be. We need him to be the cool, calm, collected leader of this offense that he's been the entire time he's been here. And it works for us, and it wins us games.
Ant-Man may have an answer, and I probably won't. But go ahead and put #lines in the comment section to at least to attempt to get it done. Craig Hogg makes a great point, says he'll never make it through waiver wire, so it would not happen. The odds of Robert Woods making it through a waiver wire to the Lions is extremely low because the Lions are very at the bottom of it. With that said, if they really wanted to get him, they can do like a conditional 7th round pick. Okay, like if the Texans know they're going to cut this guy, of course they would look towards, well, can I just get anything, right? So that if the Lions really wanted to get him, they could easily get him. So but yeah, if he's released, the odds are significantly down.
You'll get the Ayuk's requested a trade now, so you'll get that question 100 times. Will we sign Brandon Ayuk?
Okay, I didn't know you requested a trade. Did it just happen?
About 20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago. So okay, there you go. Brandon Ayuk has requested a trade. I already know 10,000 people are going to ask me on my video, Lions should trade for Brandon Ayuk, and I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen. The reason he's asked to be traded is he wants to get paid. We just paid St. Brown a mega deal. The dude's a top 5 paid wide receiver. They're not going to pay another top 5 wide receiver on this team. That would be a disaster. It would be great for this year, but boy, it would really, like you're talking about, really hampering a team when you're paying 2 wide receivers $30+ million a year. It's just, you just go ahead and cut your roster, and a lot of that talent is going to have to go. Do you want a Lee McNeil on here? Well, you're not going to have a Lee McNeil if you bring in a Brandon. Then you got to give up the assets to get him. And I've seen a lot of trade talk about, well, you give him Jameson Williams. Why would you give up a inexpensive, fast wide receiver who you develop to the 49ers to get a wide receiver who's going to be a top 5 paid? And it's kind of, is he a little bit better than a Williams right now? Probably. But is it going to make that much of a difference? I don't think it would. So that would be a disaster. So no, I don't believe the Lions are going to trade for Brandon Ayuk.
I agree. Vikings can. Half their receivers are going to be in prison soon, so
Panthers. There you go. Panthers a great team. They don't got a guy. Maybe you want to go with the Giants or other teams that he's looking to be a number 1 wide receiver. Okay, that's what he wants to be. That's not what he's going to be here. He would not be a number 1 wide receiver. We got a St. Brown. So yeah,
I feel like the Jets might do it. They're all in on Aaron Rodgers
Jets,
this year.
Perfect example. That would be absolutely a situation where it makes sense, right? And look, They got some issues over there. But panel, do you think that Caleb Williams have a good rookie season like CJ Stroud from Raw Podcast? No. What happened to CJ Stroud is something that's rare. CJ Stroud, that's not what all rookie quarterbacks do. And what CJ Stroud did was kind of like historic in my opinion, is like Dan Marino type of stuff. So no, I'll take the odds that it's not going to occur.
See, I've got to be careful here because I was on the very skeptical side about CJ Stroud in his first year, but I agree with the receiver core he had, with that team he had, like that was so rare that a guy is going to do that. But I mean, in theory, Caleb has a better supporting cast in terms of receivers. He's certainly got a better receiving core there. He's got a better tight end there. The offensive line's still absolute trash. So I think that's going to be his ceiling, is how good can that line protect him? And he's in a very competitive conference here. Like Packers go in places. We want to go to the Super Bowl. You know, Vikings are pass and go and going straight to jail. But, you know, they're going to, I think he'll have a decent year.
Yeah, I think
it'll not be CJ Stroud-esque.
CJ Stroud-esque was, in my opinion, I was watching CJ Stroud last year and I was putting him up for MVP of the whole NFL. Like this dude was doing ridiculousness for a bad football team, you know, at least at that point, right? You thought they were bad, right? Their roster is not as good. And what he did was just magnificent. And I think the world of CJ Stroud, I think he's a top 5 quarterback right now. Like, so for him to say like Caleb will replicate that, that's just rare. That's extreme. What he did was rare. Like I think you compare it to Dan Marino, that's pretty much all you can really compare it to, I think. Right? Like that don't come every year. So, I mean, that's not a negative. If you're a Bears fan, don't take that as a negative. It's just a massive dude. Matthew Stafford didn't have that type of season. Jared Goff didn't have that type of season year one. You look at other quarterbacks, maybe Andrew Luck, he had a pretty good season, went to the playoffs year one. But you look at all these quarterbacks, you were even good. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, all that type of stuff. That's just rare. So that's not a negative thing here. Do you, from Lisa Around the Lines, do you think that the upgraded defensive backfield will give the defensive line more time to get to the quarterback? Yes, yes, and yes. And I was on the huge show on ESPN the other day talking about this, how, you know, having the Carlton Davis, the Terrion Arnold, those guys right there. You got Brian Branch in the slot. Having these type of players in the secondary is going to make the quarterback stand in the pocket just a little bit more. How close we were to sacking quarterbacks last year within milliseconds? It happened a lot. So I think when you have a much upgraded defensive backfield, you're going to get more. The defensive line is going to look better and improve just because of them.
I just want to say, Amit Robertson, if you're listening, Mike just didn't mention your name there. We're talking about the first guys in our secondary, so I hope that he gets similar treatment to what I
don't think you're a backup,
weeks ago.
I didn't say his name. I didn't say DJ Reader. I didn't say Marcus Davenport, Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell.
You were talking about the secondary.
Barnes.
You were talking about the secondary.
I didn't say anything.
DJ Reader at cornerback is not a thing.
Well, I like him, Meek. I love you, man. I think you do big things for the Lions. Roar the Lions UK. Said something about Meek Robertson, and Meek got mad. Okay,
I didn't say anything about him. I just didn't mention him.
No, you said he's a depth player, right? He's a depth player behind Brian Branch. Okay, I don't think you weren't ripping a Meek Robertson. You're just praising. You're praising Brian Branch. That's just because Brian Branch is that good. I think Brian Branch will probably end up being like a top 5. You know, I don't know if you want safety or nickel corner in the NFL very soon. Like he's going to be one of those guys.
Exactly. If you want to see me rip on someone, go back to the days when Nick Williams was here. That was ripping because he was useless.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, Nick, I still think that about you.
Amik, I think he was stud, man. I was pretty happy when he signed. But again, he's got to prove it on the if he people who doubt him, he just prove it on the field. And guess what? It's all over with, right? So, but I do like the fire that he came out and he's like, nah, you ain't gonna say that about me, dog. I like that. I like that personality. I like that dog personality. I truly do. I know a lot of people may not. They think, oh, it's just so defensive and he's thinking too much or whatever. But when you expect greatness for yourself and people think that you can't do it, of course you're going to be like, no, I can. So that's just a natural thing, and I like that.
I wanted to retire when I saw that. I'm like, oh my god, he's finished me.
You thought that your career was
I
over?
thought I was
because
finished.
Nick
I thought
ripped
I'd
you?
been cancelled. I thought I'd been cancelled. I thought that was it. I was done.
Nah,
It was,
dude,
it was a good run, but
there's two guys that hate my life. Okay, and I've talked about them a lot. You already know who it is. All right, I wasn't canceled over Harris. Okay, dude, I had Wilbur Sports talking about it. Because I didn't like Harris. Okay, he was talking about it multiple times. It was not personal. It's just what you think. And guess what? He's not on the team anymore. I'm just saying. Did he go to New Orleans? Yeah, maybe. I think that's where he went. How many rings does have how many rings? How many rings does rephrase that. If Kirby wasn't hurt, Amik would be the depth player because Brian Branch is the nickel. But that's the thing, TA. I think it's like maybe on the official depth. If you look at the official depth chart, that's not the case right now. So we just don't really know how the Lions are going to use this. If you go to the official depth chart, and that is, let me get to the Lions here. I'm pretty sure it's Mick Robertson right now that is in that spot. But
the thing is, they're in a position to package your.
Amik is the nickel, is the number one nickel back, right? And it has Brian Branch as the strong safety. So, but I'm not, that doesn't really mean anything. All it means is Aaron Glenn, he places players in different spots a lot. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if you want to say with some of these DB starters or backups, they all are going to, they're going to have all playing time. Amik's going to have playing time. Ryan Branch's going to have playing time, right? Carlton Davis, Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, these guys are going to have playing time. So if you want to say starter or backup, I guess that's just what it is.
We just judge it by snap counts, I guess. But again, it could just be dependent on if you're not facing the right type of opposition to utilize a player properly, then they don't play. But everyone will be in and out. I think
he'll play. I think he'll play strong safety. He'll get on the line and do what we've seen last year. I think he'll do some blitzes. If he is going to be on the field quite a bit. I think he's a really good player. I love it, Futu Melifonwu. Maybe you're a little bit different. I know you want to you have question marks still. Totally valid. But my personal opinion, I'm fine with him. That's my personal opinion. I know that my man here, Roar, he likes him. Just not. I don't think you're 100% convinced.
It's not that. See, especially with the safety thing, I just want to see Iffy and Kirby play safety because I think it's best for this team in the future that those two work out their kinks. Like, we need to know about Iffy. This is a contract year for Iffy, right? So we need to know by the end of the year if he's it.
Yes.
And with Kirby's had his, he's going into year 3. He'll obviously have another year after this, but you want him to get back to it this year. So it's better for this team, for me, if these two play a lot and they both play well, because then you've got your tandem going forward. It's not a shot at a player. It's just how I look at rosters. It's like this year, I want Houston to do well so we can give him a new contract. I want Malcolm to do well so we can give him a new contract. And, I look at it that way. I like these guys. I want them to stay here. And I just think like that going forward. I don't always just think about, guys who are in there and that. It's just like, I would like them. I really want them to get playing time. So I really want them to play a lot. That's it with me.
Look, throughout the years, everybody knows this. I would say, why did Tim Boyle get a roster spot? Why will Harris get a roster spot? These guys don't deserve. I look at everybody on the roster right now. There's not one I'm going to complain about. No. I can't say that this guy, there is no Will Harris right now on the roster, in my opinion. There is no Tim Boyle. Yes, Sudfeld's number 3, right? Like, he's going to be on the practice squad.
You don't moan about that.
I don't care about practice squad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It means absolutely nothing to me. They got a great roster. So there's really, I look at all, and I think I look at when they do the 53, I don't think there's going to be anyone I say that guy shouldn't have made the roster. because there's so many good players here. I think they are all actually should make the roster, right? It's going to be difficult to cut down.
I think there'll certainly be some. Oh my God, how didn't he make it? But that's like
Yeah.
a good thing. Like how many years in previous past have we like looked at it and gone, oh my God, how didn't he make it? It's like, oh my God, I can't even fill a full roster full of guys I want to take. This is the first year in forever where you can fill it up to the brim and be like, damn, where I need to find spots for these guys.
It's going to suck.
I don't want to, I don't want to leave these guys out. So I might have to funnily load my roster up or something like that. And, so it's very tough. That's why this preseason, we'll go back to preseason again, is so big. It's like the offensive line. For me, I'm just worried about the amount of depth we have behind the front five. I think we need to take more. So we've got too many youngsters and not enough established veterans as backup. But then you've got to take your starting five as well. So you need to take more. So that's going to put strain on other positions. But you kind of got to do it. So it's why it's critical. We're going to lose out on guys we want. And, good teams do that. But it's a feeling we're not used to.
Generally speaking, I'm looking for players to not make the roster. Years past, at least when I look at 53, that's not the case this year. It's going to suck because there's going to be good players that's not going to make the roster. And that sucks, man. Like, these guys are actually pretty good players. And I'm sure some of these guys that don't make the roster be starters on other teams. This is how good the depth is. Bill Rowland makes a great point, such as FTB, FTP, FTV. I'm thinking AG isn't looking for starters. I think he's looking for rotation. I agree. When you look at the quote unquote starters on this team, who do you think of that's always on the field, right? Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Anzalone, Ali McNeil, right? Other than that, there's so much rotation. You'll see Jack Campbell, you'll see Derek Barnes, you'll see Malcolm Rodriguez, you'll see different corners, and that's just what they do. So I agree with you, Bill Rowland, and I think it's more of it's just a depth chart. I think this is a little bit different team than usual. So I agree with you 100% right there. Lions, which player in the secondary has the most interceptions this year? Ooh, great question. You know what? I'm gonna go with Curb Life. I'll go Kirby Joseph. He is gonna get the most interceptions this year. Yo life, no life. That's what he said on Sunday Night Football. So who do you got?
Hutch.
Holy crap, that would be epic. That, first off, I was not expecting that. That would be epic, and it's possible. His hands are so good.
Yeah, I mean, man's got more interceptions than Sauce Gardner, doesn't he? Pretty sure he does.
He did in his rookie year. I think
he's got more. He's got more in his NFL career than him. I'm pretty sure. He
really?
Does.
But holy shit.
The thing is, like, we've got that many guys in the secondary we talk about. It could be a case where they all just get like 2 or 3 apiece, and that's still going to be a shed load. So, get one of them D linemen sneaking up there with a few more.
You know what? What's crazy is you could be right. Just think, a pass rusher has the most interceptions on a team. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Great pick, man.
If the secondary's holding up well, they're going to be throwing quick outs, slants, all that sort of stuff. We'll go for it.
Hey, if
we use Hutch on the sideline
this year, he better be all pro.
Hey, we've used Hutch on the perimeter before. We've used Hutch on the perimeter when he picked off Fields. He was on the perimeter.
Yeah, dude, he was. Hey, man. It would be epic, man. You have a Lee McNeil who will get probably the most interceptions in the NFL this year.
That's it. Yeah, Houston and Pascal on the ends. They think, Hutch is off the field for a play. That's great.
Yeah.
Throw a screen pass, and there he is.
Aiden Hutchinson is CB1 right now. Penei Sewell is wide receiver 1. Oh, but you're right. It's possible. That's the crazy thing. He's so athletic that it's possible. Oh, man. Let's see. Better question. Which quarterback will Kirby be retiring this year?
Ooh. I mean, he could
retire. How about?
You're thinking of old quarterbacks we're playing this year. I think we're playing Stafford. He's old. That'd be great if he picks him off 3 times at Ford Field and instigates a crisis of confidence in Staff.
I got an idea.
Oh,
You
hang
go
on.
ahead.
We're playing Seahawks, aren't we? Geno Smith still with the Seahawks.
I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
he's
he
gonna
does that
retire.
on the night that Calvin goes into the Lions Ring of Honor. Kirby Joseph picks off Geno Smith 3 times in Ford Field, and that leads to the Seahawks benching him, and he's done.
Okay, so I'm not gonna say this person's gonna get retired, but after this game, the heat on him, I think, is going to be extensive. Maybe a little Kirby Joseph there. Dak Prescott. Lions win the game, get a couple interceptions from Dak. You're already hearing it right now. Well, there's a lot of Cowboys fans. I talked to Tom Downey, Chat Sports. They're getting tired of this guy. Okay, so
he's
Tony Romo.
He is the most overrated
Yeah.
quarterback who people say is underrated ever. Like, if you listen to people talk about him, it'd be like, yeah, but people think he's underrated. It's like they did the NFC North QB rankings the other day, and someone put him 1, and you're like, he's so overrated, it's unreal. Goff is better than Prescott. If you put Jared Goff is better than Dak Prescott into Twitter and let it loose, you will get lots of hate for that, but it's truth. Like, it's true in every single sense of the word. Jared Goff is better than Dak Prescott.
I'm going to name a quarterback. You tell me if this quarterback is better than Dak Prescott. Just say yes. Matthew Stafford.
Hang on. Saying that he's better than him.
Better than Dak.
Yes, he is better than Dak.
Jared Goff.
Yes.
Jordan Love.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. No.
I'm going to say yes. Say it's close. They're very similar, right?
They're both overrated and overpaid.
Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Okay.
Say most of the quarterbacks in the AFC and we'll just go yes.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't see him being underrated. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are better than him. So,
but that's what, Cowboys, national media, everybody loves them.
Yeah.
It's all about the media influence, man.
Yep. Just again, they're gonna love him until he throws a couple picks, and he's probably gonna throw a couple picks before, and then you're gonna hear like, "Oh man, the Lions beat over." Yeah, is Adams coming from the Raiders to here? No. What is there?
Again, we can't afford it.
How are you gonna afford it? I don't even know what his contract is. Let me see, but I'm sure it's extremely high because he got a new one.
It's only year 2 there for him, isn't it?
Let's see. Spot rack. Devontae Adams. I think he could be. I think he could be a Jet too. Obviously.
I'd sooner spend all my draft picks at the Raiders on Max Crosby, but
Max Crosby would be. If you're doing a trade, that would be.
That would be the one that would.
That would be the one.
Like, completely and utterly insane. Like, you'd be running around like, oh my god,
my god, I can't get to it right here for whatever reason.
It'll be huge, and he'll want a payday still. So
is anyone else getting breaking news? What's going on here? Let's see. Adams to the. All right, hold on. I'm seeing some. I officially requested trade. I haven't seen anything about breaking news of Devontae Adams on anything. If someone has breaking news, please let me know. Sometimes it does happen while we're live, and you just got to see.
I've not seen anything.
See. Am I agree? Adams to the Jets. Yep. The pride of the Lions. I'd pay to see that Lions versus Jets. I'm not seeing anything. Addresses Raiders decision. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything when it comes to Devontae Adams as of right now. Trade to the Jets, whether it's just rumors, nothing as of right now. But let's get into it. Would you trade for Devontae Adams?
No. I'm not doing a receiver at this point. Like, again, we talk about not stunting the growth of our own youngsters. This is the year we give Jameson Williams to go nuts. Like, if JMO comes good, we are fine with JMO and Amon-Ra and the depth behind. We don't need any more than that. Like, this is the same receiver core we had last year, bar Josh Reynolds. About 500 yards you've got to replace, and JMO can replace that. We've got the same
And
running
he
back,
whined
same
a
tight
lot.
ends. Hey,
He whined a little bit too. Gobbs or Monty more overall yards. Jahmyr Gibbs will have more yards than David Montgomery. All yards, yeah, I think he'll have more.
I mean, Monty doesn't get much in the passing game, does he? So he's kind of, it's just one set of stats for him. I know he gets a couple, but not many.
Not many.
Jahmyr will get loads in the slot as well. So I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that Gibbs goes like 1,500, 2,000 this year.
I don't think
he could go massive. I know I said last year he could beat Alvin Kamara's record. He would have beaten Alvin Kamara's rookie record if Monty wasn't on the team last year, taking the things off from him. But I think he's going to get like 1,500, something like that. Monty will get 1,000 as he always does, and that's what we need him to be. Like, Monty has a very pivotal part in this team. It allows the freedom to use Gibbs how and when we need to, and that's the perfect system for us.
Spirit Detroit Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to my man, Spirit Detroit Podcast. AJ, part of Lions Nation Unite. Subscribe to him. He'll be on here as soon as everything is worked out. We get all the content creators on here, and he's going to be one of those guys making some stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel right there. We've been on for about an hour. Ant-Man, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We are a group of Detroit Lions podcasters from across the pond here in Old Blighty. So if you want to come and hear about Detroit Lions stuff from a British perspective, then come check us out. We go live on Mondays. I do a college podcast, football podcast on either Wednesdays or Tuesdays. I'm doing one in about half an hour. So if you want to drop in on that, then please do so. But yeah, come check us out if you can. And of course, all the other great guys at Lions Nation Unite as well.
Yeah, Najee's talking about San Francisco. Ayuk, yeah, he officially requested a trade. So if that what you're talking about, yes, that did occur. So he officially requested for a trade. When a cowgirl gets inducted, it's into the Ring of Honor. One pride with the Lion. Appreciate everybody hanging out for today. We'll have another podcast next week. We'll keep making videos. And with that said, folks, adios.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And all the doubters, they're just young downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.